Our region's business, improving our economy, creating jobs, and strengthening communities. Innovation, collaboration, transformation, and the people making it happen. Join us as we take a closer look at our region's business. Now, here's your host, Bill Flanagan.
Today on Our Region's Business, with the holiday season fast approaching and the NFL draft not all that far behind, downtown Pittsburgh is scrambling to be ready to welcome visitors and provide an improved experience for today's and future residents. We'll find out where things stand in converting office buildings to apartments and condos, take a peek behind the fence to see the new public spaces taking shape from Market Square to the Cultural District and Point State Park, and update the progress in addressing homelessness and in making the neighborhood cleaner and safer. First, downtown Pittsburgh's ongoing makeover. Pennsylvania's Secretary of Community and Economic Development Rick Seiger was in Market Square late last month to celebrate the first anniversary of the launch of a 10-year plan to revitalize downtown Pittsburgh and the halfway point of major projects to upgrade the square, the Cultural District, and Point State Park. The Commonwealth is investing about $60 million toward the $600 million project. I caught up with Secretary Seiger last week via Zoom. Rick Seiger, good to see you again.
Bill, great to see you. Great to be back on your show.
Yeah, and you were in town not that long ago, really celebrating a big milestone. We're at the halfway point in the march toward the NFL draft. How do you think it's going?
You know, I got to say it's going great. Remember, we put this plan together with partners, city, county, business, Allegheny Conference, others, just like 1 year ago. And since then, you've seen huge transformation in some of our marquee public spaces. Of course, we're together in Market Square to sign a beam to note the halfway point of that construction, which is on time, on budget. Is going to be finished before the NFL draft. But you're also seeing huge progress at Arts Landing in the Cultural District and in Point State Park, which of course will host a key part of the NFL draft.
The state stepped up in a big way to invest in what's billed as a $600 million project. The state's got about 10% of that. Why? Why did you and the governor feel this was an important thing to do in Pittsburgh?
Look, I'm born and raised in Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh is not just a great American city. It's the center of Southwest Pennsylvania. It's the second largest city in our Commonwealth. And Pittsburgh's important. Like, as Pittsburgh goes, so goes Pennsylvania. And so when this coalition of partners came to us and said, we have some concerns with downtown, we really want to move forward a big vision, we were all in to join, not just as a strategic partner to help shape it, but to fund it, to put real dollars behind it in terms of these public realm projects we've talked about. In terms of a large number, 7 or more housing conversions of large office to housing, and in terms of what I would call clean and safe initiatives, funding things like small business supports, downtown ambassadors through the PDP and other programs. And we've seen really terrific progress in this first year of our initiative across all 3 domains, which of course work really closely together.
You mentioned the public realm projects. One of those the state really owns, and that's Point State Park.
That's right.
It's been there for 75 years. So how's it going to be different as a result of the investment you all are making?
Yeah, look, I think Point State Park is one of the most unique state parks, probably in the whole country, certainly in our Commonwealth. In the pre-draft phase, so right now, Point State Park's getting important facelift on infrastructure, restrooms, other things, to make sure it shows really well as we get our spot on the world stage. After the draft, there's going to be a much more significant re-envisioning of Point State Park to help better connect it to the downtown, to create amenities for people that live, work, and play there. So it's not just a destination on its own like it is today, but it's part of the fabric of downtown. This is part of the vision that the partners and that the state has put forward, this real live, work, play environment. And you'll see those much larger scale renovations of Point State Park following the draft next year.
Well, and that brings us to the real long-term part of this 10-year vision, and that's the reinvention and the rebuilding, essentially, the conversion of commercial to residential buildings in downtown Pittsburgh. And there's been some question and doubt about that. Will the private sector really step up with $400 million or whatever it's going to cost to get this done? Do you feel like they're doing their part now that the public sector has led the way?
One of these projects we announced is under construction. 3 more are going to close in the coming months. The others are on a path to succeed, and there are more behind that. And that, I think, reflects both our commitment to work sometimes every day with local partners and these developers to get these projects out of the ground, but also the reality. Pittsburgh and Pennsylvania are on the rise. You're seeing more and more companies invest in the region. The feeling when I'm downtown has improved dramatically in recent years. I think the draft is an important milestone from which we can really drive additional progress in downtown as well. So I'm extremely optimistic, not just about getting these public spaces done on time, on budget, which we will do, but about the private sector's interest and continuing interest in investing in downtown, in residential conversions and beyond.
All right, Secretary Rick Seiger, thank you so much and best of luck with everything that comes after this.
Very good. Thank you, Bill, so much.
There does seem to be demand for the new residential projects. The Pittsburgh Downtown Partnership says the residential occupancy rate has risen to almost 94%, the highest it's been since the pandemic. Among the new conversions is Rugby Realty's historic Gulf Tower. President Aaron Stalver is downtown's largest private property owner. Aaron Stalver, welcome. Good to see you.
It's good to see you, Bill.
We got a good sense of the vision for downtown from Secretary Seiger. The question is, how's it working out on the ground? What are you finding based on what was announced a year ago in the progress report recently? Are we making progress?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I have to say, in fact, I think we have as much momentum, if not more, right now than we did going into COVID in 2019. It took us, it really took what the governor did and a lot of the local, Allegheny County Conference also to jumpstart it, to kind of, when your battery kind of needs a jump started. But now we're back where we were and maybe even ahead of the game.
How is the Gulf Tower conversion project going?
Yeah, so it's a major heavy lift. I'm glad to say that as we speak, we're under construction. The first thing that we are doing right now is, and we must do this before we do all the other conversion, is we have to do all the vertical access. So all the elevators, there's 13 elevators, there's a freight elevator, all that needs to be done and essentially completed before we can start the heavy lift of the actual conversion, So those projects take time. We have to, to meet current codes. We have to do a lot of work. So that's probably about a $50 million project just to get that in order.
What's still in your way?
Well, very little right now. I think now it's there's just some time. It's interesting you asked that question. People don't realize, but 3 years ago, decisions were made that are literally changing how people will feel about Pittsburgh. Two projects. One, the bus rapid transit. That's a direct connection between downtown and Oakland. Everybody knows that Oakland is one of the major drivers of our economy, right? With the meds, the eds, especially now with technology, AI, second to none. There was never a real good connection. The BRT has been worked on. It's going to open at the end of 27. It's going to be a game changer. The other second thing is the airport. We're going to have a world-class airport that is going to be announced to the world in a big way as soon as the draft happens. And people notice these things. That's huge investments. And it says something that the people behind, the government, the supporters, the community believes in Pittsburgh. And then obviously the more recent announcements of what the governor did and the Allegheny Conference did with regard to the Arts Landing, the remake of Market Square. Come on. I mean, this is screaming out that people believe in Pittsburgh, and they call it Renaissance 3, and I really believe that.
All right, Aaron Stalver, thank you so much, and best of luck in the years to come.
All right, thank you for having me.
First in Market, a project at 100 First Avenue, is expected to be the first residential conversion to be completed, most likely by the middle of next year. Next up, from Point State Park and Market Square to the Cultural District, downtown Pittsburgh is readying up for the NFL Draft. We'll get an update when we return. Please stay with us.